Hello everyone, Beelzebub here. So my original plan was to finish up my Green with Envy storyline and then do a whole episode on anniversaries in both Power Rangers and Super Sentai in general. But my mini-series is taking a little bit longer to complete than I originally planned, partially because I changed jobs and moved to the opposite side of town. So for this episode, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what Power Rangers means to me personally, as well as my favorite, least favorite aspects of Power Rangers, such as my favorite anniversary episodes, favorite weapon, favorite ranger, etc., etc. So, let's get started. As I am writing and recording this, I have not seen the Ninja Steel anniversary episode yet, but I'll get around to it and probably talk about it at some point. So, what does Power Rangers mean to me? The first episode of the show aired when I was 4 years old, and it's one of the earliest things I remember being a fan of. I'm a fan of Doctor Who, Spider-Man, Transformers, old horror films, new horror films, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Sonic the Hedgehog, etc. But when thinking about all the media I'm a fan of, my mind eventually wanders back to Power Rangers. I'm the youngest of four, and growing up I had a lot of toys. I mean a lot. Naturally, I was a fan of whatever my brothers were a fan of. They had liked Transformers growing up, so I liked Transformers. They liked Ghostbusters, and so I liked Ghostbusters. Power Rangers is one of the first things that I really liked because I liked it, not because my brothers liked it, and I think it ends up holding a special place for me in that regard. As an adult, my interest in the series is really more as an adaptation. I had fallen out of Power Rangers sometime in middle school, I think. In college, I watched Zyuranger for the first time, and this prompted me to go back and revisit the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Up to that point, Power Rangers had been a fond memory for me, but not something that I really revisited very often. But watching the old episodes after becoming familiar with the source material gave me a new appreciation for the series. It's easy to write it off as stupid and nonsensical, which it is, but when you see how the writers and editors incorporated pre-existing footage into new storylines with completely different characters, you can't help but feel some admiration for them. Like, it sounds really easy to do, and I'm sure the producers loved how little money they had to spend on it, but I can imagine that the writers and directors did not find the job as easy as it seems. The joy of watching Power Rangers is seeing people take a pre-existing idea and making something new and creative from it. The process of adaptation itself is just something I find very interesting. Favorite Rangers. When I was a kid, it was Tommy, because he was the 6th Ranger. He had the cool, unique suit and the cool, unique Zord. I still liked him when he became Red, but I definitely stopped caring about him as much. The controversy surrounding Jason David Frank, unfortunately, does affect what I think of Tommy as an adult. Billy is still awesome, and David Yost has not been nearly as disappointing as a person in real life as JDF. Rewatching the show made me appreciate Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly a lot more. She actually showed some pretty good acting for a children's show in some episodes. And yes, just like every male viewer, I had a crush on Kimberly as a kid. But Amy Jo actually put effort into her acting, and that alone is more than a lot of people did for children's entertainment in the 90s. My favorite Ranger post-MMPR is definitely Ziggy. I don't laugh much when watching Power Rangers because the humor is aimed at toddlers, but Ziggy managed to make me chuckle. I was always interested in what was happening to him and hoped he'd succeed.
You okay, ma'am?
That really was past its use-by date.
Favorite weapon? The Power Axe. I'm just going to call it the Mothbreaker because Mothbreaker is just fun to say. It's an axe that turns into a gun. There's no contest. You cannot make a cooler weapon. It's physically impossible. Favorite season? The original MMPR and even Zeo and Turbo hold a special nostalgia for me, so I'm just going to put those in a little bubble off to the side. There we go. RPM was a lot of fun. It's a bit of a divisive season in the fan base, but I felt that it had the potential to invigorate the franchise in the same way that In Space did.
It's the perfect one. Black is the brooding bad boy. Green is the clown, and yellow, well, she's the girl. So what are you supposed to be?
I'm Scottish!
But instead, we got Samurai. Alright, this is the last one. My favorite anniversary episode. Well, that would have to be Forever Red. The story is dumb, just really dumb, but man does it do its job as a tribute episode. All the Red Rangers show up and get a proper amount of spotlight. The original Red Ranger comes back and is treated with the gravitas he should be, and the newest Ranger doesn't get overshadowed and contributes meaningfully to the story. The stuff in it that's stupid is fun and stupid. Like, goddamn horses on the moon. Also, like, tire tracks in space. Also, the main villain is the Shadowborg from Beetleborgs. Oh, and the Green Beetleborg also shows up as a villain. Yeah, I bet you forgot about that one, didn't you? I'm just sad that didn't become a gag. Every evil army needs a General Shadowborg. Can we do that, Hasbro? Please? Can we make that a thing? Your adult fans will gladly sit through any season as they gleefully wait for that 2-second random Shadowborg appearance. I wasn't a huge fan of Once a Ranger. The alumni cast they got to return for that episode was impressive. When is Adam going to get a turn as a mentor for a new team of heroes? J. Bosch deserves it much more than JDF at this point. Unfortunately, whereas Forever Red is charming in the way that it's stupid, Once a Ranger is just stupid. And I don't care about the Overdrive Rangers, and from what I've seen, nobody really does, so I just didn't care for any parts of the story that focused on them, which was sadly most of it. Super Megaforce was just very disappointing. The Legendary War was the biggest case of blue balls the Power Rangers fandom has ever experienced. You could have easily fixed it if you just had the Legendary Rangers fighting the Evil Army. I don't even remember what the Evil Army was called, that's how little I care. While the Rangers went and fought the Emperor themselves, and then afterwards had them all talk, congratulate each other, and go back to their lives. You didn't need much for it to work, but they still managed to screw it up. I wasn't expecting it to be good, but I was expecting fun nostalgia, and I didn't even get that. Shattered Grid has been awesome. I haven't talked about the new comics yet, but I really want to at some point. I will eventually do an episode about the different eras of Power Ranger comics. The new comics have just been everything I was hoping they would be. I don't really care if the Ninja Steel anniversary episode is great because the Shattered Grid storyline has been the best anniversary tribute story that you could do with Power Rangers. Well, that's the end of that. Happy birthday, Power Rangers. There's only one thing to do now.
Happy birthday!
That's all I've got for now. Power Rangers, you're older than some of my friends. Congratulations, and I genuinely hope your future with Hasbro is a bright one. Till next time, may the power protect you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.